You know what's fascinating? Sometimes, incredibly smart people mess things up badly not because they're foolish, but because they overthink. Their minds are like engines that never turn off, constantly running, never resting. History is full of brilliant individuals who made terrible decisions, choices they themselves couldn't believe they'd made later on. It's as if a razor-sharp mind, when spinning too fast, can steer itself right to the edge of a cliff. Because high intelligence isn't always wisdom. Sometimes the brain works quickly, but the heart and moral compass get left behind. Intelligence is a double-edged sword. It can save you or wound you, depending entirely on how you wield it. We often assume that the more we know, the fewer mistakes we'll make. But the truth is the opposite. The more certain we become that we know, the less we listen, the fewer questions we ask, and the more we fall into the traps of our own making. Pride in what we think we know is one of the mind's most dangerous illusions, a quiet, false confidence that slowly narrows our vision. Many intelligent people believe that because their minds work well, they're somehow immune to error, but that's precisely where the mistake begins. High intelligence drives the brain to seek patterns, logic, and reasons, even in moments where what's truly needed is simply to see, feel, and be present. The mind starts overanalyzing, overinterpreting, and ultimately gets lost in an endless maze of possibilities. The result? Decisions that look foolish from the outside but felt completely logical from within. The Stoics, the calm, deep-thinking philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome, understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus once said something that, every time I read it, feels written for our time. If you think you know everything, then you have nothing left to learn. That sentence marks the end of growth the moment you tell yourself, I already know. From that instant, learning stops and pride takes its place. And pride always arrives silently and knocks you down just as quietly. The truth is, learning begins the moment you admit how much you don't know. Intellectual humility means exactly this, recognizing that no matter how vast your knowledge, it's just a single drop in an ocean of the unknown. We humans share a common tendency. We crave certainty. We want to know, to feel in control, to be sure we're right because that feeling gives us security. The mind fears ambiguity because ambiguity means discomfort, the discomfort of admitting you might be wrong. But real growth only emerges from that very discomfort. When you convince yourself that everything is clear, you're actually disconnecting yourself from real life. This sense of certainty is like armor. It protects you from one side, yet imprisons you from the other. When you become too sure of yourself, you lose the ability to think beyond your mental framework. Even if the truth stands right before your eyes, you won't see it because your brain only looks for what fits your existing beliefs. Think of it this way. How many times have you argued with someone, both utterly convinced you were right? Neither of you backed down because the goal wasn't understanding, it was winning. That's how certainty works. We think we're defending our beliefs, but really, we're just building higher walls around our own minds. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, left us a line we should keep always before our eyes. Don't fear death, fear never having lived. What does that mean? It means that when you become so entrenched in old beliefs and past knowledge that you stop experiencing anything new, you may be alive, but you're not truly living. Excessive certainty is a quiet death, clinging to ideas that may have served you years ago, but now only hold you back. We live in a world that changes by the second. Technology, people, relationships, emotions, all in constant flux. If your mind stays fixed, even the smartest person in the world will fall behind. A brilliant but closed mind is like the latest smartphone running outdated software, powerful yet useless. And right there, that's the precise moment when intelligence becomes foolishness. Being smart only means your brain processes information quickly. Wisdom means knowing when to pause and say, maybe I'm wrong. A wise person isn't trying to win an argument, they're trying to learn from it. And that subtle difference is the thin line between intelligence and folly. Sometimes, an ordinary person with open ears understands more than a proud genius because one seeks to prove they're right, while the other seeks to discover what's true. The world belongs to those who ask questions, not to those who believe they already have all the answers. Perhaps the greatest sign of intellectual maturity is the ability to say, I don't know, and feel no shame in it. So the next time you feel absolutely certain, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What if there's another way? That simple question might just be the door that sets your mind free from the prison of certainty. Have you ever been in a situation where someone shared a fresh idea or a new perspective, and without even realizing it, you smirked or silently thought to yourself, no way, obviously they're wrong. Or maybe you dismissed solid advice just because it didn't sit well with your taste or ego. That's exactly the moment your mind starts closing the doors to learning. Because a closed mind is like a full cup. No matter how much you pour in, it just spills over. Nothing new can fit. And usually, we don't even notice that this cup has been filling up for years, layer by layer, with beliefs, past experiences, pride, and fear. The problem begins when we care more about being confirmed than about understanding. Our brains are wired to constantly seek information that aligns with what we already believe. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, a type of cognitive distortion. It means your mind only notices what matches your internal image of reality. Anything different, either ignored or quickly rejected. For example, if you believe successful people always wake up early, every time a wealthy person posts a sunrise photo, you get excited. See? I told you so. But what about someone like Neil Gaiman or Mozart who reportedly slept until noon? Your brain easily discards that information because it doesn't fit your narrative. The truth is, we don't see reality. We only see the version of reality that serves us. And here's the irony. The smarter you are, the greater the risk. Because a sharp mind can craft brilliant justifications for anything, even its own mistakes. Highly intelligent people often become masters at rationalizing their errors, wrapping flawed thinking in elegant arguments that sound logical. High intelligence breeds confidence, and that very confidence can blind you. Your brain starts whispering, I'm always right, why should I doubt myself? And that's the dangerous turning point where intelligence quietly slips into foolishness, not from ignorance, but from excessive certainty. So what's the way out? Just one thing: awareness. Awareness that your brain is tricking you, convincing you that your version of truth is the only one. It's about stepping outside your thoughts and watching them like a movie, observing your own mental patterns without attachment. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I truly certain, or do I just want to be right? That simple question can stop countless misjudgments before they even happen. But the mind's traps don't end with bias. Another classic pitfall for intelligent people is overthinking, that state where you analyze so much that you become paralyzed. You examine every option, weigh every possibility, and end up doing nothing at all. It's like standing at a crossroads with 1,000 paths, terrified of choosing the wrong one, so you stay frozen in place. This is a classic trap for fast, analytical minds. The more capable your brain is at dissecting situations, the more tempted it is to understand everything before acting. You're afraid of making a mistake. You want to map out every outcome. But life isn't a finite chess game. You can't see all the moves ahead. If you wait for absolute certainty, you'll never move. Take a simple example. Imagine you want to start something, a project, a relationship, a big decision. You tell yourself, let me research more, Let me consider all angles. Let me wait for the perfect timing. Suddenly, a month passes, then a year, then a lifetime. And you're still just thinking. That's when your brilliant mind stops being a tool and becomes a barrier. There's a famous Eastern parable about a master who invites his student for tea. As the master pours, the cup fills, then overflows, spilling onto the table. The student, alarmed, says, "Master, the cup is full. It can't hold anymore." The master smiles and replies, "Exactly. And so is your mind. Until you empty it, nothing new can enter." How simple, how profound. Our minds work the same way. When they're packed with assumptions, fears, judgments, and endless analysis, there's no room for fresh insight, real connection, or genuine growth. And we mistakenly believe that because we're thinking a lot, we're evolving. In truth, we're just running in place. Sometimes you need to empty your mind. Give it rest. Let silence speak so reality can reveal itself. Because sometimes the answer comes only in the moment you stop desperately searching for it. True learning begins right there. In the moment you empty your mind of pride, judgment, and fear. In the moment you stop trying to control and simply listen. Listen to people. Listen to the world. Listen to yourself. Yes, it's hard, especially for intelligent people who are used to analyzing everything. But life isn't just an equation to solve, it's an experience to live. And experience only becomes meaningful when you allow it to happen instead of just thinking about it. So sometimes you need to do what the master taught. Empty your cup. Make space for understanding, for feeling, for growth. Seneca once said something so profound it should be written in gold. The greatest obstacle to living is postponing everything until tomorrow. How precisely he put it, right? We're always saying, tomorrow, let me do it later, it's not the right time yet. But the truth is, the right time never comes. Because fear of making a mistake won't let us truly live today. We're afraid of getting it wrong. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of falling. And in that fear, we quietly let opportunities slip away until one day we wake up and realize years have passed, yet we're still standing at the same starting point, only now with less experience and far more regret. No decision is perfect. No beginning is flawless. Life means stepping onto the field, making mistakes, falling down, getting back up, and moving forward. But our minds crave certainty. They long for control. They chase an idealized, flawless image of ourselves. And that's where ego steps in. That quiet but dangerous inner voice whispering, "You know better. You don't need anyone. If you mess up, you'll be humiliated." Ego, the hidden enemy of growth, stops us from learning, from listening, from seeing that maybe, just maybe, there's a better way. So often, our failures aren't due to lack of intelligence or experience. They stem from simply refusing to listen. When we succeed, when we make a few right calls, something subtle takes root inside us, a dangerous feeling of, "I've got this figured out." That's the exact moment our minds shift from learning mode into defense mode. We're no longer seeking understanding, we're seeking validation. This ego makes us argue to be right instead of to understand what's true. It makes us reject advice, because accepting it would mean admitting we might be wrong. It causes us to repeat the same mistakes, because pride won't let us learn from them. Ego is the mask we wear over our fears and doubts, so no one sees how deeply we tremble inside. History is full of brilliant, successful people destroyed by this very ego. Kings, generals, politicians, even philosophers who thrived as long as they listened, but began to fall the moment they believed they held all the answers. Nero, the Roman emperor, was one such man, intelligent, ambitious, charismatic, but fatally proud. No one dared tell him, "You're making a mistake." And that refusal to listen eventually led the mighty ruler of Rome into isolation and ruin. You might say, "But I'm no emperor." True, but ego isn't reserved for thrones and crowns. It's alive the moment you dismiss a colleague's advice at work because you assume they don't understand as well as you do. It's there when you refuse to admit you were wrong in a relationship simply because your pride won't allow it. It's even in the quiet thought, "I'm wiser than most people." And the danger? Ego speaks softly hidden, persuasive, convincing. You think it's protecting you, but it's actually building walls around you. Epictetus captured the essence of all this in one golden line. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. But how many of us actually live by that balance?" Most of us do the opposite. We have 2 mouths and half an ear. Everyone wants to be heard, but few truly want to listen. To listen is an act of humility. It means accepting that someone else might see something you can't. It's acknowledging the simple truth that no one, not even the smartest person on earth, knows everything. Ego fears humility because humility means letting go of the illusion of control. And here's something worth noting. The smarter someone is, the more dangerous their ego becomes. Why? Because a sharp mind is better at justifying its errors, better at dressing mistakes in logical clothing, better at convincing itself it's being wise when it's really just defending its pride. If you look closely at human history, at wars, failed policies, broken relationships, you'll see they almost always begin at the same point. "I know better." That sentence sounds harmless, but it's deadly. Because the moment it's spoken, ears close and eyes only search for proof that you were right all along. On the other hand, truly great people, the ones who keep growing, share one core trait: humility. They know there's always someone who sees something they don't. They understand that listening isn't weakness, it's real strength. And they've learned that sometimes a simple piece of advice from an ordinary person can be their salvation. So maybe it's worth asking ourselves now and then, how much am I really listening? How certain am I that I'm on the right path? And if your answer is, "I'm always right," then know this: your ego is hiding behind that certainty. Ego isn't an external enemy to destroy. It's not something you kill, it's something you recognize. Because the very moment you realize that voice is speaking from fear, you take its power away. In the end, perhaps we can say this: being smart means knowing how to think, but being wise means knowing how to listen. And between the two lies a world of difference. In the end, perhaps the greatest sign of mental maturity isn't your ability to speak more intelligently than others or to present more complex theories. True maturity means realizing there's always something new to learn. It means understanding that even when you know a great deal, you still don't know everything. There's always another perspective, a different angle, a truth you haven't yet uncovered. Many people think listening means weakness, as if staying silent means you have nothing worthwhile to say. But it's the opposite. Listening is maturity. It means you're so secure in yourself that you don't need to dominate the conversation. It means you trust growth enough to let yourself learn even from someone younger, simpler, or seemingly less experienced than you. No one holds all the answers. Each of us has only seen one piece of the puzzle, touched one facet of the truth. It's by placing these pieces together that we reach deeper understanding. And only when you truly listen, instead of just waiting to speak, can you find the missing parts. But there's an even greater obstacle in our way: emotion. We like to believe we're rational, that our decisions are thoughtful and logic-driven. that reason always wins over feeling. Yet the truth is, most of our choices are rooted in emotion. Sometimes anger, sometimes fear, sometimes excitement, even love. An impulsive decision made in anger can alter your path forever. A careless word spoken from fear can destroy a relationship. And a choice driven by euphoria might feel thrilling in the moment, but lead to regret later. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't say, suppress your emotions, because emotions are an essential part of being human. Instead, they said, emotions aren't the enemy, you just shouldn't let them take the wheel. See them, name them, understand them. But let your decisions be guided by reason and calm, not by emotional storms. They believed emotions are like double-edged swords. If you learn to wield them wisely, they can help you act with courage, live with love, and forgive with compassion. But if you let them run wild, they can destroy the very things you hold most dear. In truth, emotions are the fuel of our journey, but they should never hold the steering wheel. Think of a car. It needs gasoline to move, but if you pour that fuel over the engine, everything burns. We too must learn to channel our inner fuel so it propels us forward instead of setting our lives on fire. Sometimes, in the middle of an emotional storm, you need to step back and ask yourself, am I making this choice from fear or from awareness? That one simple question can prevent 1,000 mistakes. And ultimately, when you've moved beyond ego, impulsiveness, pride, and the illusion of superiority, you arrive at life's most essential lesson, humility. Humility isn't just a moral virtue, it's a form of awakening. It means realizing that, no matter how much you know, there's still a whole world you haven't understood. It means knowing that knowledge isn't the end of the road, it's only the beginning. A humble person learns from everyone, from a child, a taxi driver, or a simple conversation, because they know life itself is the greatest teacher. You just have to listen. Humility means acknowledging you make mistakes but refusing to run from them. It means having the courage to say, I don't know, instead of pretending you do. And that single phrase sets you free. Intelligence is only useful when paired with humility. Otherwise, it's like a powerful car with no steering wheel, strong but dangerous. Many brilliant people crash because they never learned when to stop, when to pause, when to change course. But a humble person, even with ordinary intelligence, can live more wisely because they know when to halt, when to listen, and when to turn. Carl Jung once said something extraordinary. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that becoming is only possible through humility. Because as long as you believe you already have all the answers, you'll never truly understand yourself. Real growth begins the moment you drop the pretense of knowing. When you stop trying to appear right and start striving to be right. That's when mind and heart finally align. You no longer need to play a role or insist you're always right. You learn to lose sometimes, to make mistakes, to embrace not knowing. And right there in that space, peace arrives. Because you finally understand, life isn't a battle to win. It's a journey to live. And on this journey, what truly matters isn't proving you're better than everyone else. It's learning, growing, and staying open to the infinite lessons along the way.